I think all of us would agree when I say this, that we never really know where life is heading, where life takes us. Life just happens. Back in 2016, I had no idea that one fine day, I'll wake up and I'll find myself to have topped one of the most toughest and competitive exams in India. It was just unbelievable that so much of good fortune was bestowed on me by God. And now, after 2 years of being part of this glorious service, I simply have no words how it feels. And when I finally go and do my first posting in October this year, I'm very, very excited for it. Yeah, I think being in the Indian Administrative Service probably is the biggest blessing I've ever received. Who knew that, just by sitting in office alone, let alone the fieldwork that we do, one has the opportunity to change the lives of so many. And according to me, somehow I feel that efficient civil service can be considered to be the highest form of social activism. Because social activism probably, begins by activating the surroundings, the people to some social cause. The civil service does much more than that. It not just activates you, it brings tangible outcomes, results when a government program or policy is executed perfectly. And I think the IAS is the gate to limitless opportunities of doing good to this nation. And when I joined my first posting October this year, I know I have a long way to go. And I'm pretty sure that in 10, 12 years, I'll be coming back here for a TED Talk to tell you what all I have been doing. I'll come for, I think, probably for a much greater cause and not just as a first ranker. But how am I here? What has brought me here? What's my life story? I think it all began in the year 2014. My life was no different than that of an ordinary IAS aspirant. A student buried neck deep with books, newspapers, magazines, notes, maps, falana thikana. And I think my only privilege was that I was living in Delhi, which offers you so many opportunities. And I was born in a middle-class family, parents who could give me this education. But if I look back, what really sailed me through these stormy days of preparation were two things: persistence and perseverance. I am of the opinion that you can be an IITian, you can be an MBA graduate, you can be a doctor from AIMS, you can be an Ivy League graduate, you could be the next Einstein. But what really sails you through this examination is the ability to go through that monotonous routine, that rigorous routine of studying 8 hours every day, to somewhat not break that cycle, to still go through those long stretch of hours on a daily basis. So, back to my story, the exam came in the year 2015, and it went away in 2016. On May 10th, 2016, when the results had to be announced and all candidates were holding their breath, including me, that moment arrived. And I can't even begin to describe how it felt to have secured the first rank, how unbelievable it felt that that feeling of victory, that feeling of triumph. But, and that's the sad part and the hard part, this success did not come to me walking with a bouquet in hand. This success did not welcome me with open arms. I think I am probably the only topper of this prestigious examination who was made to feel so bad about her success. And I think that time, for the first time, I realized how brutal, how unforgiving, how non-understanding Indian society can be, how one individual can be targeted for entire systems and structures that the Indian society lives in, survives in, and just how easy it is for people to sit back comfortably in their home and abuse somebody on the internet. Target one individual for something which is still very hotly debated and contested in India. I can't even begin to describe the psychological trauma that 22-year-old who had just cleared the exam had to go through. And I can't tell you how it felt that suddenly the eyes and ears of the nation were on me. But let me tell you, I had never felt more responsible in my whole life. Responsible towards this nation, towards this society, towards this family, towards myself. To prove my worth, my credibility. So I just decided there and then, I would never let any negativity wipe the smile off my face. And I went to the IAS Academy in Mussoorie with an open heart and mind, with a single-minded goal of excelling. Now, many of you have heard about the IAS Academy in Mussoorie, and with all its beauty and splendors, I would like to tell you that it's not a vacationing spot. It's a highly competitive space where everybody is pushed to their potential. And if you don't actively participate in your training, you lose your rank. Your rank changes. So here I was again, back to square one. The rigorous schedule of doing hard work, of being sincere, of being dedicated to a cause was back, because here I again had to face competition from the cream of the country. Now, I was just like most of you, right out of Delhi University, with not much experience of the real world, with absolutely no work experience. And here I was competing with MBA graduates, with IIT engineers, with doctors. What will happen to a mere political science graduate like me? I had to compete in subjects like management, like economics, जिसमें मैं उतनी अच्छी नहीं थी. So how do I do? I used to spend long hours कि कैसे कुछ तो आ जाए. I used to take help from my batchmates. I used to take help from the faculty, so that even if I can't be the best in those subjects, which I can't because I'm not an expert of them, I at least don't lag far behind. I used to look for my strength points. I'm good in law, I'm good in pol science, I'm good in history, or even focus on subjects which are usually ignored, like, say, language subjects like Hindi. I used to work for them. How do I maintain my rank? My rank, which everybody so questioned. During this time, I also met the companion of my life. And let me tell you, deciding to deciding to marry someone who comes from a very different religion and culture was not an easy one. And as you can imagine, I was again in the line of fire. Many were displeased. ऐसा क्यों कर रही है? कैसे हो सकता है? वो कैसे हो सकता है? But then I realized I am not a box of chocolates waiting to please everyone. I would ultimately do what I feel is right for me. And therefore, I went ahead and married the man I loved. So while these personal upheavals were happening, I was still under training, still had a lot to prove, when so many were just waiting to see me fall. Because somehow it's just very easy to criticize, to be negative, to bring people down. Still had a long way to go. We were sent to districts according to our respective cadres for a year-long district training. And I was privileged to get trained by one of the best collectors in Rajasthan. Shri Gaurav Goyal, he groomed me. He not only was a hard taskmaster who used to give me assignments, which I would literally die completing, but at the same time always motivate me and tell me that, Tina, never think that you're less than anyone. And I probably owe a lot to him, because the kind of officer that I claim I am right now, it's been him who's been shaping me all this while. After the year-long district training, we went back to the academy, and again, the academy schedule resumed. This time, we had more experience since we had seen the ground realities. The grueling schedule began. Again, academics, extracurriculars, assessments. And finally, even that moment arrived when the ranks had to be recalculated. And I can't tell you, this was probably the hardest thing I had to ever do in my life, because nobody had to face this sort of, probably nobody in my batch had so much pressure on them and had to face this sort of desire to keep on proving themselves that, no, I deserve to be here, I'm capable of this. And then, yes, the moment of truth came, and I secured the first rank in the order of merit. I somehow, through all that hard work, sincerity, dedication of not losing sight of things, not letting people get to me, managed to score the highest when the UPSC marks along with the 2 years of training were added. And I got this beautiful medal, the President of India medal, gold medal for coming first in order of merit. So, while the fire in me was probably ignited by all those armchair critics who always doubted, but what sailed me through was the desire to prove what I was truly capable of. And now, nobody can take that away from me. Nobody can question this. I think that what began with doubts, with questions, with criticisms, is now firmly grounded in continued excellence, and my credibility has been restored. Now, coming to you, my dear friends, all your life, you will face situations where everyone in the world will be against you, where everyone will keep doubting you, everyone will criticize you, you will feel you're without help. Acha, you have not cleared this exam. Oh, you've still not landed a good job. Please, don't let that get to you. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. That is really the time you have to be brave and strong. Strong enough to have faith in yourself, believe in your dreams and goals, and brave enough to brush off your worst critics with a smile on your face. And believe me, you do this, things fall into place. That's what I have learned from my own experience. Everything works in the form of a life cycle. Everything will take care of itself eventually. And it will, if you have faith and you keep moving forward. If you have faith and you keep moving on. Thank you.